Hello everybody. The camera is a bit zoomed out so you can see more of my hands than usual because this is a bit larger than the usual things I would deal with. This is a piece of specialised test equipment, I guess you'd call it. It is, if I take it out, this little package thing here. It is a SatLink SatFinder, which is basically a specialised piece of equipment that is used for installing satellite dishes. It has a port on the top where you put the coax cable in, and then this one has all the satellite tuners and stuff in it, so you can tune it into the signal and you can see on the screen what you're getting. You can tell if you're on the correct satellite or the wrong satellite, that kind of thing. This one here, the reason I have it is because it does not work. It is completely, it has a switch on the top, turn it on, but you flick the switch, nothing happens, none of the buttons do anything. So I was given this. Also, this one is basically obsolete now. This is a DVB-S receiver, and as far as I'm aware, basically everything is DVB-S2 now. So even if I can get this going, it's not going to be of much use. Although I figured we would take it apart, see if there was anything obviously wrong with it. Maybe we can fix it, maybe we can't. Anyway, we'll have a look inside and see what there is. The first thing I want to check with this is because it does have a lithium-ion battery. If you look in the back, it is a lithium-ion battery, 3000 milliamp hour. I think the battery might be dead, so if I get a screwdriver, will this one fit? Yes, it will. And we will take the screws out and have a quick look at the battery. Bump the camera. There we go. We have a polymer lithium-ion battery, 2017, so it's quite old. 7.4 volts, 3000 milliamp hour. Let's see if I can get this out. There we go, it's on a nice plug. The thing I'm going to check with this multimeter, DC volts. I want to see if this battery is completely flat, then that would explain why it's not working. 8.07 volts, so the battery's fine. Okay, that means we're going to have to go deeper. My approach with this, which I think should be reasonably sensible, let me just grab a tray. It has some random screws in it, which I will put here. What size are those screws? Oh, they're big. 1 second, I'm going to have to go find a screwdriver for those. I don't have one on the bench. Okay, I've got the screws out. I'm assuming that there's going to be connectors holding this two sides together. Yeah, there is. Let's see if I can get those out. How does the latch on these work? There's one. And there's two. Okay, this was predictable. We have a lot of very complicated stuff. Right, I think plan of action, what's holding this board in, if anything? Looks like there's a nut on the end of this. Let's see if I can loosen that off. Oh, there we go, that's lifting out. And then we have more connector. This is nice. I mean, at least it is connectors. It would be worse if all of these were wires I had to desolder. So, I'm just checking. These are labelled with what they are, aren't they? Torch. Oh yeah, speaker. Okay, good. There are things there that say what they do. Right, so I think the first thing to do is going to be to follow basically the power coming in and see where does it go, what happens. So we have power comes in on disconnect here, goes in here, and one of those goes to this, which I'm assuming is don't recognise the number on that, but I'm assuming it's a MOSFET. Yeah, there's a lot of these inductors. I'm guessing each of these inductors will be a little buck boost supply, making the voltages for running the modules. Is there a fuse? R120, that's not a fuse. I don't see anything obvious. Okay, give me 1 minute. I'm going to have to look up what some of these chips are and try and work out what's actually going on here. So give me 1 second to be back then. So I was doing some probing and I was realising when I plugged the battery in and measured the voltage on the back, on the actual contacts, it goes all over the place. So what I've done is I've soldered some wires onto the, basically soldered them onto the battery contacts on the back of the board, replugged everything back in again, and I'm going to power it from my bench power supply through these wires and see if it's short-circuited or drawing a lot of current or something. But I want to film this in case it is spectacular. So I'm going to turn the power supply on, and it is drawing like 300 milliamps and rising. Oh, and it's booting up. Oh, and now it's capped out the CC. No signal. Okay, this is odd. So it must be a battery issue then. I don't know, can you read this? Let's see if we menu, exit, back, do any of the buttons do anything? No, they don't. Does the switch... Oh, that's because the wire has come off. Try flicking the switch. SatLink. TV channel yesterday, no signal. Menu. I wonder if that's not working because the connector's not plugged in properly. I'm not sure what that switch is supposed to do though. I think the problem though is that there's something wrong with this cell pack. I wonder if it's gone bad and it can't actually supply current. I think that might be what it is. I think this has probably gone high internal resistance or something and now cannot supply current. So I'm going to go hunt through my stash. I think I have some other lithium cells that are not quite this big, but we might be able to salvage this. So 1 second, I'm going to go have a look. One of the things I think I'm going to do actually before I go hunting for new cells, I'm going to cut the wrapping off this so I can actually get to the cells internally and see what they're like. Because it might be something fixed with the battery pack. Obviously, be extremely careful doing this kind of thing. Sharp knives near lithium batteries is, generally speaking, not advised. I'm being very careful to not stab things. Okay, we have 2 cells. Let's see if I can get this off. So there we go, we have a BMS board. I'm going to have a look at that in a second. See, that's unusual because it has a BM plus and BM minus contacts, which is not something I was expecting. Just trying to get this tape off without damaging the cells. I think these cells might be stuck together. Yeah, I have my soldering iron also. I can see if I can get these. Oh, are these tabs soldered on, or are they spot welded? I think the cells in one of these camera batteries might be bad as well, because the damn thing just died halfway through filming it, and that battery had only just come out the charger. That literally ran for I don't know how long, but probably only a couple of minutes. Anyway, I cut the wrapping off the battery. I think you can see that in the video before the camera died. What I've done is I've attached basically a car side light bulb to the battery, and I'm going to see if the battery, if this will turn on the bulb, then the battery's good. If it won't, then the batteries are bad. I'll just turn the lights off so that hopefully we have a better chance of seeing the bulb glowing. Okay, and the bulb turns on. Okay, so how much current does this thing draw? This is a 22 watt bulb. I'm going to try attaching it to the wires on the output of the battery BMS. See if that's what's wrong, because these cells seem fine. I'm going to do some more testing, 1 second. So I just noticed a little bit of what you might call a happy accident. I accidentally wired the bench power supply onto the switch connector, not the battery connector, and it worked then. What I've done, because the battery tests fine, it's off screen, you can't see it, but I've wired the battery management board to my bench power supply. The wires keep falling out the clips, but I've wired that to my bench power supply, and I'm going to use that to imitate the basically imitate the battery. And if this works with the bench power supply but not the battery, but I know it's the battery that's the problem, if this doesn't work, then I'm going to suspect it's probably the battery management board that is the problem, and I'm going to replace that to spare ones. So we turn this on, nothing happens. Turn that on, okay, nothing happens. Just for my own curiosity, I'm going to turn that off. Turn that off. Do that. We'll set this to 8 volts. And I'm going to just remove the battery management board from here. And I will connect this directly to my bench power supply. I'm sure you probably can't see what is going on here, but these wires are too small for these clips. And I will then turn that on. Nothing. Okay, this is weird. Right, 1 second, I'm going to work out what's going on here. So, as you can see, I have now got it working. There is something very strange going with the power supply circuitry down where the charge port is. I'm not clear exactly what it is, but when I was measuring it, I'm getting weird values. I can't really trace things out. So what I've done is I've basically just wired the battery into the switch port, and it works fine. I press the buttons, they all work. Yeah, it all seems to be working. The interesting thing is the power switch. When I connect that to my GPO meter, this was designed for doing work in telephone exchanges, so it's really good for finding bad contacts. When I connect this across the switch and I flick it, I don't know if you can hear that clicking noise. I'll turn the power supply off. But if you can hear that hissing, that means that the contacts are dirty. There's not a good... see, there we go, it works. But I think the fact that this switch is so intermittent is why it wasn't working when I had the switch wired in series with the battery. So I'm going to find another switch, wire that in series with the battery. I'm just going to ignore the charge circuitry because I can charge it directly on the battery with my bench power supply. I'm hardly ever going to actually use this thing, if at all. But yeah, overall, this was weird. I don't know what's wrong with it, but something is. And I found a way around it, so I don't really mind. Yeah, I'm going to go try and find a replacement switch, because this one is bad, and I'll get back to you in a second. I might go through the internals of this as well, and we'll have a quick look at what some of the chips are, because I suspect there'll be quite interesting ASICs in there. So, it is working now. I managed to fix the switch. You can see when I flick the switch on, it will boot up. SatLink, and it'll complain there's no signal because obviously it's not getting to anything. Quick tip, I should have filmed it probably when I was doing it. A good way in order to clean a switch if it has dirty contacts: get some isopropanol, soak the switch in isopropanol for a while. Then, after you've done that, work it back and forth a bit, and that usually will clean it. If that doesn't work, let it dry out, and then connect it to something like a bench power supply. Set the current to 2 or 3 amps odd, depending on the rating of the switch, so basically as much as the switch will take, and just short the switch across the bench power supply a few times, and the sort of spark of the contact making as you short it will blow the dirt off the, like, literally explode the dirt off the surface of the thing, and leaves you with nice clean contacts, which is basically exactly what I did with that, and now it's working. So I'm gonna have a look, and I'm going to get the data sheets from those chips if I can find them, and we'll have a talk about those before I put this back together, because it would appear I have kind of accidentally fixed it, although I don't really know what is wrong with it, but it works, so I'm counting that as a success. I'll be back in a second. So in the internals, I am absolutely not going to reverse engineer this, because screw that. But in the long and short of it, what we have coming in is the satellite signal comes in here. This chip here is something, I can't work out exactly what it is. It's described as a clipped sine wave modulator on the only datasheet I can find for it. No idea what that is. This chip here, Ali is a part of NVIDIA. This is an NVIDIA GPU, I think, a very basic GPU, but it is a GPU, or some sort of video encoder related thing, which I'm guessing is probably something to do with decoding the satellite transmission and drawing the graph for the screen or something. I'm not sure. There is another chip under here on the screen, which I am not gonna read. I can't read the number off because I'm not disturbing that cable, because if I take it out I'm probably not going to be able to get it back in again, and it works, so I don't want to touch it. I'm not 100% sure exactly what that does, but it's probably something to do with drawing on the screen. This here, the big chip, is a RAM chip, and this chip here is a microcontroller. The other chips around here are mostly either buck supply driver chips or MOSFET packages, dual MOSFET packages. Other than that, there's not much more I can say about this without knowing things I don't know. But as I say, I'm guessing this chip here is probably something to do with either decoding the satellite signal or drawing the image to the screen. This is the brains of the whole thing here, and this is, I think, just... It says DRAM, which I'm not sure if that means that it's a stable, like, EPROM or what. But yeah, this is an interesting thing to have a look inside. Not as much RF voodoo as I was expecting. I was expecting lots of wiggly traces and stuff, and there aren't many of those. But yeah, I'm going to put this back together again now, because I don't think there's much more point in guddling around inside it. I'm only going to break things even more. So yeah, I'll be back in a second once I put this back together. So, that's it back together. I am pleasantly surprised. This is very nice. We don't normally have 2 videos go approximately to plan in a row. Now it works. You flip the switch. Oh, of course. Oh, there we go. Is it going to boot up? Oh yeah, it is. There we go. The switch must still be a bit dirty, but yes, it turns on, it boots. The buttons on the screen work. Go radio channel. Yeah, obviously there aren't any signals coming into it because it's not connected to a satellite receiver, but yeah, it does appear to be pretty much working. Wonder what this USB port in the bottom is for. Actually, one second, I'm going to grab my USB meter, we'll see if it's outputting. Might be for a power bank. Have my little USB meter, we'll plug that in. Is there power? No, there's not. Okay, that might be something to do with programming then. Anyway, I have, I think, managed to fix this. It does appear to be working, sort of. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Remember to like and subscribe, and if you have any questions or comments or suggestions or whatever, set them in the comments below. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one.